So today it's just a little bit of a review. I'm not even allowed to assign any homework, so I'm not gonna, don't worry. We will do a little practice in class, but there won't be any homework so that you can just enjoy your break. All right, so here's the typical test question after the break. Y equals 3x squared plus 2x minus 3 over x times x plus 3. I factored the bottom, but I didn't factor the top. What would your first instinct be? Brody, what do you think we should do? Factor it, absolutely. Now, let's play with the top and see if we can figure out a way to make it factor. Do they always factor? No, they don't always factor. The bottom can just be x and x plus 3. It's already factored as far as it can go. The top has to be a 3x and an x. You can just walk through all the, what has to be true. Next, for my signs, it has to be a plus and a minus, because this number is negative. Then, to make a 3, it has to be a 3 and a 1. Now, do you get why it cannot be a 3 right there? Because the 3's would have factored out already. Is there a 3 that factors out of everything? No. So there can't be a 3 there. Do you get what I mean by that? Because then it would have to factor it, and then there would be a 3 that would factor to the front, and there isn't any 3 in the front. So that cannot be a 3. All right, then it has to be a 1 and a 3. And then that's 9 plus 1, or negative 9 plus 1 makes negative 8. That's not the same as 2. What if I switch the signs around? Would that fix it? No. So that doesn't factor. But it still has a vertical asymptote, or 2. And the horizontal would be pretty tough. So we're going to just not do the horizontal on this one, because this one doesn't factor. And it's really the best to stick in the 1000 trick, to do the 1000 idea. Go way to the right, see if it levels off. If you want to be extra advanced, go ahead and try to do the 1000 trick, and I'll tell you what the right answer is. See if you can figure it out, but probably wouldn't do one this hard. So for the vertical, Tyler Roman, tell me something that makes the bottom 0.
Negative 3.
Okay, why would I get it marked wrong if I wrote that? X equals. And the other x equals?
0.
0. Those are both asymptotes. Unless one of them's a whole. Could one of them be a whole? Generally, yes, but if it was, do you get this would have to factor? Since that doesn't factor, then there's no way that it's going to cancel on the top and the bottom, so then it can't be a whole. Those are both asymptotes. All right, now, everybody try the 1000 trick. It is not going to be fun, but then if you go, well, I'm not sure if this is working or not, try 1,000,000 instead of 1,000. And if you still get about the same thing, then that's it. All right, so some logical, I hope you get this. 1,003 is pretty much just 1,000. You with me there? Okay. Subtracting 3 on the top is going to pretty much do nothing. So I get rid of that. Now I've got 1,000 squared up there, which seems like kind of a big deal. It is being times by 3, so it's not just 1,000 squared, which by the way is 1,000,000. It's 3 times that much. So that's 3,000,000. At that point, do you get adding 2,000 to 3,000,000? It's not really changing it very much. That goes away too. I know that's hard, but that's the hardest part for people. Once you get past that, this becomes easy. There's 1,000 times 1,000 on the top, which is like 1,000,000. And there's 1,000 times 1,000 on the bottom, which is like 1,000,000. And do you get that those would cancel each other out? But what's left? 3. Did anybody take a guess that it was 3?
Yeah.
All right, you made the right call. All right, here's a more normal one. You ready? X squared minus 5x minus 6 over x squared minus 36. You'll have a vertical, you'll have a horizontal, you'll have a hole. And I need to know exactly where it is, like what comma what. Then, an XY chart with the asymptote on it. Like you figure out what makes the asymptote, and then you make it a number on either side of that. Then you'll be able to graph it. That's intense, but that's what your test is like. We will definitely review before we take that test. It's not happening the day you come back, and it's not even the day after you come back. There'll be at least 2 days of review. So that you can not stress about math over break. I'm going to pause for a second to see if you can handle this hardest question. All right, we're just going to do one little step at a time. So if you're not done, just hurry up and do it while I'm getting people to do parts of this. Tate, you're up for the factoring part on the top.
X plus 1, x minus 6.
I think you're right. Anybody verify that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, John Paul, bottom.
S plus x plus 6, x minus 6.
Yep.
And then you can cancel out the x minus 6.
Which creates a
Well,
at. Well, what's the x of it anyway?
the x of it
Yeah.
is 6.
Yes.
And then 7/12 is the y.
And you're putting the 6 in here, and that would make 6 plus 1 is 7/12 is correct. Nice job. Linnell, can you tell me what the verticals come from? Like what makes a vertical? Hint, it's something about making something 0. Vertical makes that part 0. So what do you think it is? -6. There you go. The horizontals, you do the 1,000 idea, which is saying, I'm going to go way to the right on the graph, and I'll see if it has leveled off. Cole, can you please perform the 1,000 thing?
Well, you put 1,000 in both x's, which means there's basically 1,000 on the top and the bottom, which basically simplifies to 1.
So then what's my answer for what is the horizontal asymptote?
1.
Close, you got to say it right.
Oh, y equals 1.
There you go. Y equals 1 is correct. Okay, now we'd go to the graphing part. And the asymptote is at 1, like you said, and you were correct. And then there's another asymptote at -6, which is like going up and down over here. Okay. Now I said something about this chart. Mr. A, over by the board, can you tell me what number makes the asymptote and therefore goes right there?
Which one?
You tell me. You can tell by looking over here.
-6.
Yes, -6 goes here. -6 makes the asymptote. So then you go on either side of it. Hilliard, what's something on one side of -6?
-7.
All right. Have you already put that in yet? Okay. Let's do that together. If we put in -7 on the top, I'll put it here and here. What do I get on the top?
-6.
Hilliard's up.
-6.
And on the bottom?
You get -1.
All right. And if I have a -6 over a -1,
It's just
They're both negatives.
Oh, it's just
6. So we put in -7 and we got 6. Omen, I'm going to put in a negative what else?
5.
-5. -5 goes here, and then what do you get on top?
-4.
And on the bottom?
1.
So final answer?
-4.
-4. Now, everybody put those 2 points in and finish your graph. You should be able to know where -5 is on the graph. It's on one side of the asymptote, and then -7's on the other side of the asymptote. -6 is where the asymptote is, and -5 would be one back from there, and that's down 4, so it's a dot like down there. And the other one is -7 and +6. That's like way up here. And then, did anybody remember to put in the whole? It's so easy to forget, isn't it? 6 comma 7/12. 7/12 is kind of like almost 6/12, which is about a half. So that means there's an empty spot over here somewhere where this whole lives at 6 comma a half. And now you fill in your lines. And those are not easy. And don't forget, there's a hole right there. That is an example of a difficult rational function that has a hole in it. That's the kind of stuff that's on your next test. If you're not a genius at it right now, it's okay. All right. The next thing I want to do is review a couple of top 20 things, and then we're going to take not a whole top 20. I was going to, but decided against it. We're just going to review like 5 things that you guys have generally struggled on, and then we're going to take a 5-question top 20, which will easily be able to finish during the hour. And then there's this little thing called steps in order. And I want to try to see, I think this is a good kind of problem, and I've been making them, and it's hard to make them. And so I think I need to get your opinions on how that works. In fact, I'd like to do that next. So we're going to do this thing called steps in order. Go open up Schoology, find this little quiz called steps in order. And if I'm right that this helps kids to solve hard equations, like get used to seeing how it should look, then these are going to be used a lot. But I need your feedback on how to make this better. So to start with, I'm going to open it for you, and then we're going to take it, and then I'd love to get your feedback. After that, we'll do a little bit of top 20 stuff, and then that's all I have for the video for today.